You were made in His image. So forget about Superman and Wonder Woman, because one day you're going to be just like him. So last time we spoke about the fact that God said, let us make man in our image. And today we're going to talk about the next part. He made us in His image, which is totally different from the animals and the birds. He never did that when He made them. When He made us in His image. Now if we look in the book of Daniel, Daniel describes the throne scene with the Father looking like the Ancient of Days. So let's put it like this. The Father looks like an older person, which kind of makes sense. And then Jesus, He describes looking with the appearance or the likeness of the Son of Man. So it's very difficult to say this is how God looks, because He dwells in a light that we cannot even look into. But we get glimpses in the Bible. He's got hair like wool, eyes of fire, voice like thunder. But His image and the image we have is similar. He made us in His image. So He's got hands and feet, and there's a similarity. Now we are not God. That's not at all what the point here. The point is just that we were made in His image. And we're going to talk about the reasons for that next time. But I want to focus on the fact that we were made in His image. Now before I talk about that, I just want to jump straight again to the end of the book. Now in John 3, 1 John 3, it says, what great love the Father has given us, that we can be called children of God. So now we are called children of God. We are His sons and we are His daughters. But in verse 2 it says, we do not yet know what we will be like. What an interesting verse. He says there, we don't know exactly what we are going to be like, what we will be. We know now that we are sons of God. And then he says this, but we know this, that we shall be like Him, for we shall see Him as He is. Again, at the end, there's this concept of being like Him. So again, there's my wonderful art piece. And we can see that the Bible says what's coming is that we are going to be like Him in a different way, different than now. As sons and daughters, we have the resemblance of the Father. But there's coming a more glorious revelation, so to speak. Now, I'm going to color it in with you like Paul did in 1 Corinthians. He colored it in and he said that we bore the image of the earthly man, of Adam, but one day we will have the image of the heavenly man. So this is what's coming. One day we will have the image of the heavenly man. And then he talks about the fact that we are going to get a new body, a heavenly body. So to be scripturally sound, we can say that we are going to get a new body. Just hang on. That's a bit better. So we are going to have a new body. So let's then look at the process of our salvation. When we become saved, because salvation is continuous in the Greek, we call that justification. So at our salvation, initial salvation, when we become saved, we become justified. And that means we are set free from the penalty of sin. Then our salvation is continuous. We call that sanctification. And that means we are being set free from the power of sin. So sin cannot do with us what it did before. We are getting more and more free as we continue from its influence, from its concepts, from its strongholds, from its mindsets, from whatever sin did in our lives. We walking more from freedom to freedom, from faith to faith, from glory to glory. But then at the end, we can say we will be glorified. And what's going to happen there is we will be set free from sin. So we are not there yet. We are still here. And the thing is that we must not get upset or discouraged when sin still has an effect in our lives, when it still works through other people, when it still sometimes just pops up. It happens. We are not yet set free from the presence of sin. But that day is coming. And that day we will finally be like Him. So this is the story more or less. He made us in His image. And like I said, we'll talk about that next time. But at the end, we are gonna again be like in an exalted, glorified way in His image, because we're gonna have a glorified body, and we are gonna be set free finally from the presence of sin. So this then becomes the theme of many of the New Testament writers. They are writing towards this glorious end. They motivate us towards that glorious end. So, okay, give me a second. I'll be back now. So if you looked at the picture you just saw of me now, there's two things I want you to take note of. Number one, I was looking different. Well, I hope I look different. Number two was the clothes that I had on. The image that I had told a story. And it told the story of where I am going. You see, if I'm going to the bush, I will probably have on that clothes. A hat for the sun, nice binoculars, and then obviously when I'm going to the sea, I won't have on those clothes. I'll have on my swimming clothes, my swimming costume. Why? Because I am getting ready for where I am going. I don't want to get to the beach and then I don't have my swimming clothes on. And I don't want to get to the bush and I don't have my nice hat for the sun and my binoculars for the animals. No, the clothes I have on tells a story. Now this is what the Bible writers did. They said because of where we are going, because one day we will be like Him, even more than now, we will have a glorious body. Because of that, let us then live our lives and align our lives according to that purpose. Let's look what Peter said. Peter said, we have a promise. There's one day coming a new heaven and a new earth in which righteousness will dwell. And what? He said, that is why we must live lives that will be found by Him in peace, that is without spot, and that is blameless. So what he's saying is, align your life with the end. We should get excited about where we are going. I have lived both sides. I've been a slave of sin. I have mindsets of the enemy that disturbed me. I had strongholds in my head. I have cursed people with my mouth, and I've lived the other side, where I used my mouth for righteousness, speaking blessing, where I was free, not a slave anymore. where I was really using my body for righteousness' sake to bring life, not death anymore. And let me tell you, that side, it's better. This side of becoming more and more like Him, it's way more glorious than the other side. It's a glorious thing to become more and more like Him. So Paul said in 2 Corinthians 3, we are being transformed. While we are seeing Him, beholding the Lord with an unveiled face, we are being transformed from glory to glory into the same image. Because it's a glorious thing to become like Him. And it's an exciting thing. If it is on earth already so awesome to be free in my mind. If it is on earth so awesome to speak blessings and bring words of life. If it is on earth amazing. If it is on earth now in this broken world amazing, when God uses an earthen vessel, a clay pot, and He puts His glory in a clay pot, and yet this clay pot is experiencing the wonderfulness of being free. Can you imagine how glorious that day is going to be? So this is what the Bible writers did. They said, get excited. Live pure lives. Live lives in peace, without spot and blameless. Why? Because of what is coming. Because of the hope and the inheritance that's waiting for us. So how does it work? And what did the Lord do in the New Testament? Well, in the Old Testament, many of the things that God did was on the outside. And many of the things was visible. And in the New Testament, many of the things is more like on the inside, like the law is written on the inside. In the Old Testament, it was on tablets of stone. In the New Testament, it's in the tablets of our heart. He wrote His law here. In the Old Testament, the glory that Moses had was shining from God on the outside. In the New Testament, He put His glory where? In a clay pot, an earthen vessel inside of me and you. Where is it? Inside of us. Christ in us, the hope of glory. I no longer live, Christ lives in me. God put His image, which is glorious, inside of me and you. And we are being transformed from day to day, from glory to glory, from image to image. Why are we going to do this? Because it's amazing, glorious, and exciting. It's an amazing end that we have with Him. Now, where you are now, this is the good news. The good news is, the Bible says, the new man is created according to God in righteousness and holiness. There's a new man inside of me and you. There's a new man in us that bears the image of Him. And we can decide to put on the old man or the new man. Or we can decide to put off the old man, this is the right thing, and put on the new man. We want to put off that old guy. We want to put on the new guy. Every one of us, because of the cross, because of Jesus, can put on the new man. The good news is, there's a new man inside of me and you. And we can be excited about where we are going. We are going from glory to glory. We have a glorious end. You have a glorious end. Enjoy the journey. Blessings. Love.